Hey guys, welcome to Fit Chicks Chat. I'm Amanda Quinn, and today I'm actually riding solo going through this podcast with you guys. So I'm going to be chatting with you guys about surefire signs that are going to tell you that it is time for you to switch up your fitness routine, maybe hire a trainer, and why having a trainer or a coach is going to benefit you in the big picture of things. Now, oftentimes when people think about getting a trainer, the first thing that comes to their mind, especially when it's personal training, is it's going to cost me so much money, right? Like it's so expensive. Like that's always the big thing that comes up. The big roadblock is the cost. Now, I want you guys to kind of like take a step back though, and really see as what this investment is. This investment is in your health, right? So when you think about it from that perspective and you think, okay, but this is going to cost me X amount of dollars, it's like, but you're investing in your health. So is it not worth it for you to be able to like invest that money? You're going to invest the time into the workouts, invest the money as well into getting a trainer that's going to get you the results that you're looking for. So before that roadblock even comes up, I want you guys to try to like eliminate, and then also think, what other things are you doing in your life that you might be like splurging on, like maybe it's like, an online shoe shopping, or maybe it's, you're constantly splurging on eating out or doing things like that are amazing things, but could you maybe dial those back for a little bit in order to invest that money in your future health, your future self, and invest the money in a trainer, even if it is just for 4 weeks, to get you on a roll to start moving forward. Because here's the thing, guys. Oftentimes what's going to happen is, okay, and I want you guys to like listen up, and I want you to raise your hand if this is you listening right now. You're doing everything you think is right. You're going to the gym maybe 5 days a week. Maybe you're training for like 1 to 2 hours every single time. You're going and you're eating like really, really light, low calorie foods, or like, low carb, like you're being really strict with your diet and everything else. And then you're still not seeing the needle move. You're still feeling like you're stuck. And the chances are that if you probably are, there's probably like this missing piece of the puzzle, that maybe you're not eating the right amount of certain foods. Maybe you're not eating enough foods. Maybe the training program that you're doing is counterintuitive to what it is that you're eating. So, but not understanding that and not having an idea of what to do next is what's going to hold you back from getting the results that you're looking for. And so that's why when I say invest in a trainer, it's going to help you, at least, even if it is for a short term, even if it is for 4 weeks. What it's going to do is it's going to establish a routine for you that's going to start getting you results. It's going to start moving that needle forward a little bit, so you don't feel like you're just spinning your wheels constantly. Because one of the biggest things that happens with most people is they decide to get going, right? Like in their fitness and nutrition, or maybe you've been doing this for a long time, but either way, if you're not getting the results that you're looking for, usually what happens is we then just give up and we just say, forget it. This isn't working. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. And then you just stop doing anything and everything. And then when that happens, it's like any progress that you have made at this point it just becomes like either stagnant, it kind of like eliminates itself. You go back to old habits, you go back to old ways. So I really want you guys to start thinking about it from a perspective of, when you think about the money and you think about the investment, think about how worth it is because of the longevity of what it is that you're going to be receiving. So why you should invest in a trainer. Now, there are so many different reasons. Of course, number one is accountability, right? So one of the biggest things that people say to me oftentimes as trainers, they're like, well, the problem is I can't commit. I can't commit, whether it's an in-person program or an online program. I can't commit to it. I can't commit 100%, or if they're trying to do it on their own, I can't commit. I don't show up. I don't do it. I don't show up for myself. So number one is you do need to learn to show up for yourself. You need to really look at the big picture and understand what it is that you're trying to achieve. Why did you sign up for this program? Why did you sign up for this training program? Why did you get that gym membership? What was the big picture? What was the big goal that you were trying to get to? Because when you keep that into perspective at all times, it will help you maintain your momentum so that you keep moving forward. But then the second thing that you want to be thinking about is, okay, if I know that that's where I suck, like if I'm just like, I don't commit, I don't show up for myself, I get a gym membership and then it just sits there. If you know that, that's okay. That's fine. But it's almost better to know that and to like be honest with yourself about that, because if you're honest with yourself about that and you're like, that's what's holding me back, That's when you know a trainer is key, because a trainer is going to give you that accountability. A good trainer is going to have accountability check-ins with you. They're going to be looking at your results constantly, tweaking your program constantly. They're going to be checking in with you, whether it be in person or virtual, and saying to you like, okay, if we've been doing this and this is where your results are at, how do we progress it? Or if we feel like we're not getting the results, what do we need to tweak and move around in order to get you those results? That is what a trainer is going to do. And they're also going to hold you accountable in the sense that when you know that someone is waiting for you, and you know that they're like at the gym waiting for you, or even if it's a virtual training program and you know that like someone is going to be looking at your food log, or they're going to be looking at your workouts or whatever, you're going to actually do the work, because you're like, oh no, I don't want to let someone down. It's this whole mentality that we have around like authoritative figures, right? And it doesn't matter if it's a doctor, if it's a police, if it's a trainer, or if it's like a school teacher, whatever it is, whenever it's somebody that you feel like you're kind of answering to, it's like they're almost in this authoritative state. And like you feel like almost like you revert back to like your childish ways, in the sense that you're like, oh, I don't want to let them down, right? You also have to remember you don't want to let yourself down, but you also have to think that you are going to go into that state. So knowing that will keep you accountable, and it will keep you showing up every single time for those people. The other thing is that you're going to receive by hiring a trainer is you're going to get something creative. Now, I always hear this from a lot of our clients is like, I am so bored. I do the same thing. And you might be raising your hand listening right now, and you're like, yeah, that's me. I go to the gym, I get on that, like the, what is it called? The elliptical. And I just like elliptical my way through like an hour or whatever. And that's cool. Like you're moving, and I'm so proud of you for doing that. But when you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, your brain gets super bored, right? Your brain gets bored, your body gets accustomed to that movement. You're going to start plateauing because you're not really pushing yourself to your limits. And let's be honest, how many of you right now, if you're doing the elliptical or the treadmill or whatever, and you're constantly doing the same thing, how many of you honestly push yourself in that limitation? Or do you just go to the same settings? Like you still just go to the same like incline, the same resistance. Maybe you'll move it up one notch, but you won't really push those limitations, right? What a trainer is going to do is they're going to get creative. They're going to give you a different program. They're going to give you a program that is going to hopefully change with you and your body, right? That's how it should go. It should progress with you. You should also receive a lot of creativity and a lot of different ideas of different things you can do. So you're not just stuck on that one machine feeling like I'm uncertain. Because I feel like that's probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people use those cardio machines and kind of do the same thing over and over again, is just because that's a safe place, right? Like they know that they can go there and they can do that, and they're still moving their body, so it still counts. But to get the results that you're looking for, you've got to challenge yourself. You've got to push limitations. You've got to push past those comfort zones and what you know in order to start moving your body and moving that needle forward. So definitely you're going to receive creativity. You're going to receive different types of programming, like a lot of variety. So it's going to help you progress consistently. You're also going to receive one of the cool things about having a trainer or having a training program, even if you do it short term, is that you are going to learn how to do things properly, right? Having a trainer showing you exactly how to do stuff so that you're not just kind of guessing, or you're not being like in, like in the weight room. Like if you're like, okay, I want to start doing strength training, which is like amazing, and you really want to get into that, but you're like, but I only know how to do 5 exercises, or I'm not even sure that I'm doing them correctly. Number one, you can injure yourself. We don't want that. You want to prevent injury at all costs, obviously. Number two is that if you're not doing it properly, you're not going to actually activate the right muscle groups. If you're not activating the right muscle groups, you're not going to get the results that you're trying to obtain, right? So you need to be able to take a step backwards, and you need to be like, okay, I need to look at this from the outside perspective. But that's what a trainer is going to do for you. They're going to look at you and they're going to say, okay, I'm going to show you how to squat properly. I'm going to show you how to use the squat racks. I'm going to show you how to use free weights, or how to use dumbbells, or how to use barbells, or how to use kettlebells, or whatever it is that you are interested in learning, or they are maybe an expert in. They're going to show you the way to do it so that it's safe and that it's effective to get you the results you're looking for. And when you walk in to that gym setting, you'll no longer have that feeling of intimidation or nervousness or like uncertainty, right? You'll have this confidence about you. And when you're confident about it, you'll push yourself. I truly believe, like, when you really know that you're like, yeah, I got this. Like, I know how to do these squats. Like, I know how to do this squat rack, no problem. You will actually, like, you might go heavier because you know that you've got proper form. You've got that in the bag. So now it's just about pushing those limitations a little bit further and a little bit further every single time. And knowing how to do something, it's like riding a bike. Like they say, like, you'll never forget how to ride a bike. It's kind of the same thing, I believe, with weight training, strength training, anything like that. When you learn proper technique, it's like you almost can't default back to bad technique. Like when I know now how to squat. I had a trainer that I worked with for a while, because when I was squatting, I was always activating in my quads. So the front parts of my legs were the only muscles that were really activating. I was never really able to get that activation in my glutes and in my hamstrings. So the back parts of my legs and in my butt wasn't really activating. It was all front leg stuff. And so I had to learn how to activate those muscles. And it took so long. And it was so painstakingly slow to get that activation done. But when we really realized it and we figured it out, when I figured it out in my body and I felt that activation and I felt what I was doing to get that activation, it's like I can no longer go backwards now, right? So once you learn that proper technique, you will have that as like for life. You'll know how to do this. You'll know how to consistently squat properly. You'll know how to consistently bench properly. You'll have those great techniques to carry you forward. So regardless if you stick with a trainer or a training program, or you start developing your own because now you have that knowledge base, you'll be able to support yourself in a healthy, safe way, which is so, so incredibly important, right? And then, of course, lastly, the other thing that's going to really be great about having a trainer for you is that it's the opportunity to like try something on, right? Like you don't have to work with a trainer forever. Okay. Like this is one thing, like people are always think like, okay, well, if I'm going to hire a personal trainer, then I have to do it. And then as soon as like I am no longer going to work with them, then I'm back at square zero. Like, no, you're not. Like you're learning all of these cool techniques from them. And you could do it like, you could buy a package from a trainer and do like 10 sessions with them. And then from there, you could be like, okay, now I'm going to take 2 months break and I'm going to just keep doing the program that you gave me. And then when that becomes kind of stagnant or becomes like I'm not really getting results or I'm not really progressing and I need to progress my workouts again, I'll hire them back on. And you can do it like that in pieces, right? If you would like. You can also do it obviously continuous. But if from a financial perspective, it makes more sense to do it in pieces, do it in pieces where you know that you're like, okay, once you reach a point where you're kind of starting to plateau again, bring them back in to refresh and give yourself the opportunity to continue to grow and to continue to build on your abilities and your skills as well as your strength and everything else. So you can use a trainer's expertise. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you, right? And that's the thing with a trainer is like, so many times we feel like, oh, like I don't want to, like, I'm going to tell you guys, like, even I have a trainer, like I work with a trainer and I do that because, not because I don't have the knowledge or the expertise, but because I love somebody telling me exactly what to do. I love them just giving me a routine and I just have to execute against it. It makes me accountable. It makes me show up and it allows for me to continue to progress in my strength and in my abilities without me having to plan it all out, right? And so it's a really great investment for your future. Now, how to tell if you are at a place where you should probably hire a trainer? Number one is that you're plateauing. If you're just doing the same thing over and over again and you're plateauing over and over again, you're doing the same thing, you're showing up at the gym and for the past year, you've been sitting at the same weight or you've been, not pushing any kind of limitations whatsoever, that's a really good sign that a trainer will really help you. Whether it's a personal trainer or a training program. So keep in mind when I'm talking about a trainer, I mean a personal trainer or a training program, which could be an in-person program or an online program. The other thing that would give you a good idea that like you probably want to hire someone is if you notice that when you're showing up, you're really nervous. If you're really nervous and you're showing up at the gym and you're really uncertain and you're kind of just walking around, looking around and you're really like, you're watching other people for direction and you're really not feeling confident with what it is that you're doing, really good sign that you probably want to take a step backwards and start trying to find someone to help you feel confident in the gym, because you want to have that confidence and that ability so that it's there and it's set in stone so that you can continue to move forward. And another one that probably would be an indication that you probably want to hire a trainer or sign up for some kind of training program is, again, going back to that accountability. If you notice that you're just like, you're like a very, like, you're not, it's not flowing. It's like you start, then you stop, then you start, then you stop, then you start, then you stop, and you're trying all these different things and nothing seems to be working, but you're not really committing to anything. Hire a trainer. Hire a trainer that can then show you different techniques. So then because maybe your problem is that you're trying to find the thing that you like. Maybe you're trying kettlebells, and maybe you're trying heavy lifting and Olympic lifting, and then maybe you're trying CrossFit, and maybe you're trying this and that, because maybe you're a curious person, you want to see like what's out there. But also oftentimes when we try different things, it's because we're trying to find the thing that we connect to, so that when we connect to it, we're like, yes, that's it. I can do this for a really long time and I can see progression in this. But you need someone to kind of introduce that stuff to you in a safe way. So hiring a trainer will allow you that ability to do so as well. Now, I did touch on really lightly about the idea around online training programs. And I just want to touch on this a little bit, because I know this is one thing that is so big right now, right? Is online trainers and training programs. And so many people have their backs up against it. They have this idea that like having an online program will not provide them the same accountability or support or type of training that they require. Now, if you are someone who is like, I 100% need to show up and like be in front of someone and they have to be like staring me down, telling me what to do in order for me to do it, if you know that that's you, then totally 100% stick to in-person training, because you want to make sure that you do what works for you. But if you're someone who feels like, okay, I will show up for myself, I will show up to the gym, I will do this, but I just don't really know what to do. I'm really not certain how to progress. I'm not really sure what to eat. I'm not really sure how to match my meals with my workouts, with everything, how to do nutrient timing. Like if all of these things are questions to you and you're really not 100% certain on it, then online training can be an amazing tool, because the cool thing about online training is that now you can work with anybody from a global level, right? You're not just limited to someone who is at your gym in your community. You can work with somebody that is like, maybe there's an amazing trainer that you love in like the other side of the world, like in Australia or something. Like for me, it's like Australia because I'm in Canada. Like if they were in Australia and I was like, I love their training style, I love their approach, I love their vibe, I love everything about what they're doing, but I don't live in Australia. Now I can work with them. And it's so friggin' cool, because it gives us that ability, that access to the people that we may not have had access to. So my recommendation to you is, if you are someone who's considering doing online training, see if you can do a 1-month trial with them. See if you can do a 1-month trial. That's it. Like a no commitment, like you just sign up, you pay them for 1 month to see, does this work for me? Don't do it just for like, a couple days or like, one trial workout or anything like that. Because if you're doing it for just a really short period, 7 days is okay. But like, if you could try to get in a 1-month trial, a 1-month trial is going to really help you have that like foundational feeling of like, yes, I've really committed to this and it's working. 1 week, sometimes we start things out and we're like really gung-ho, but then after like week 3, we might be like, oh, like this really, I don't know if I'm really liking this anymore. You know what I mean? So if you could try to find a 1-month trial, whether it's a paid trial or a free trial, but do something for 1 month where you can just try it on and see if it fits. Because this is kind of the wave of the future, right? This is sort of the way that things are going, is that they are going online. There is, of course, going to be in-person training always. But if you are someone who feels like, maybe you travel a lot, or maybe you don't need that person to stand in front of you or stand beside you and tell you what to do. You just need someone to help build the programs, build the meal plans, progress your workouts, provide you variety, that kind of thing. Online training programs are so cool. Group programs, they can be generalized, so it's a little bit more general. Personal online training programs, they're going to personalize it for you. They're going to do accountability. They're going to do check-ins with you, virtual check-ins. It's super cool, and it gives you the same type of access. It's usually a little bit less in terms of cost of an in-person training program. So if budget is an issue, that's a great option. And then also what it's going to do is it's going to give you, like I said, that global access, so you can access anybody in the world. So if you are considering it, I highly recommend just try it out, because it is something that may really work for you. Even though in your mind right now you might be thinking like, nope, not into it, try it, because you never know. I always say, like, try it, you might like it. Like, you might actually surprise yourself and be like, actually, this is super cool, and this totally works for me. So check it out and see what works best for you. But I'd love to hear in the comments below. Let me know what your preference is. Do you prefer in-person or online training programs? And have you ever tried online training programs? So comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I'd love to hear if you have any roadblocks that keep you from actually hiring a trainer. If there's something that has held you back, maybe it was a bad experience, maybe it's budget, maybe it's this, I'd love to just hear, because I'm curious to know what it is that is holding people back from making that commitment to be able to step outside of their comfort zone. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up for today, but I'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you want to share any information or if you have any questions, comments, anything you'd like to share with us, please email us info@fitchicks.ca. And then check us out on social media at Fitchicks Academy, on Facebook at Fitchicks Academy /programs. And on our website, fitchicksacademy.com, is where you can check out more info about all of our upcoming certification programs. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.